Hey guys, it's Thomas here, and today I'm doing something a little bit different and a lot more fun, I think, than some of the more, structured videos we do. We're going off the cuff, and I've decided, being the nice guy that I am, that I was going to help out a fellow YouTuber, make it. Because everybody could use a hand, and I thought that this fine gentleman here could use a hand. So, I'm sure nobody knows who this is.
What's up, guys? Joey, for those that don't know.
Yeah, so today I'm here with the king of DIY, and we're going to have some fun. We're going to check out what he's got going on in the gallery that I've never been to, but also we're going to do some react videos with Joey.
And I know that I might have just killed people at home, like I just crushed them inside. How could Joey say this about me?
Come on.
I don't have much confidence in like a permit.
It is way bigger in person.
Yeah. We've got Hartley,
Argentia?
I call them Argentia. A few different places, right? Main event.
Wow. What do we have? Are they all crossbacks?
These two here, believe it or not, are the same fish. So we've got an ultimate blood red and an ultimate blood red, but they're from different farms.
Is so much fun. I've watched this. Let's face it, I think just about any aquarium geek is going to watch what Joey's got going on. And I've been watching since this building was just trenches when you were digging up around to get everything started. And it is so cool to be standing in it and seeing how everything actually looks in person. You got red tails in here, right?
Yeah.
They were like this big when you got them.
You want to feed them?
Yes.
Suck up, let me see. You gotta feed the arowana too.
Ah, I'm gonna fanboy out here. Oh, that's okay.
So I have to feed this usually twice this amount every day, just to this tank and this tank.
Am I gonna bleed?
Yes. You shouldn't. You probably shouldn't if you worry about it. But if you were to do something like, see, they sense what's gonna hit the water. They know something's coming.
Oh, they're quick. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and not stick my hand in the tank.
You're gonna give them Pacific white shrimp.
Okay.
You can dangle one above the water surface if you want, and they'll come and get it. I'm not sure which one. They will. He'll get it.
Wow, that's a lot more gentle than I was expecting.
So one of my favorite things to do is make them fight. Let them come get it. You got your hand.
Yep.
See
well,
what
it happened. And let me tell you, not only is that a really hard mouth, it's got a little.
It's got a lot of teeth.
Little teeth in there.
What are they called?
Little needles.
So arowana don't die of old age in the hobby. They jump almost all the time. They'll jump, they'll smash into something, they'll kill themselves. Depending on how big the tank is. These guys have a high chance here because the tank is so big, but in the home aquarium, most jump. Now in Asian culture, that's where it gets interesting, is that in Asian culture, they believe that when the Asian arrow jumps, it's sacrificing itself for its owner, and it's helping him avoid something potentially dangerous. These are their scales.
Oh, yeah.
They'll lose them every once in a while.
That's really, really cool. And the white part of the scale is buried.
Yeah, so
and then that's the pigmented part of the scale.
Yeah, so it goes like this. But an arowana will lose its scales constantly. Pretty simple and easy to do. It's a 2x6 frame. There's nothing below it. It's just like a frame goes around it, and then I put plywood on the inside and outside, and dropped a pond liner in. It was a cheap and effective way to have a pond or an aquarium big enough to house these big fish, because a lot of the times people get these massive fish and nowhere to put them. So I wanted to give an example of how to create a lot of volume of water for very little money and very little skill. It doesn't take me long to build.
Right on.
But ultimately, this tank is going to serve as a warning how big these
fish get.
Yeah.
It's a good warning to have because I've said it before, like in top 10 videos and stuff. You don't realize that most of the fish that you see at your local fish store are babies. And just because a fish is an inch long as a baby doesn't mean it's not going to get 3 feet long as an adult. So it's really easy to see a small catfish or a goldfish that's young and think, okay, that's not very big, and then you don't realize that
they're just so accessible and cheap.
Oh, absolutely.
You can get a red-tailed cat for like $20 or something, or $10.
And everybody's got them. You're absolutely right. Every store.
They're all in place. But you don't see rays a lot, so I don't really send warnings about the rays, even though they're going to get just as big as well as the Asian arowana. But not everybody's running out and buying a $2,000 fish or investing that much money into individual animals. So I don't have to do as many warnings there. But these guys, so accessible, easily one of the top fish that shouldn't be kept in the hobby, but we do. It's not the fish store's fault; it's the hobbyist's fault. Supply and demand. Same with the giant gourami. That's another fish that probably shouldn't be in the hobby, but we have it. So. And I've always wanted one, I'm just as guilty. But I'm willing to do this. So if you're not willing to do this, don't get them.
This is our PSA. Well, this has been a crazy, crazy cool experience. Finally coming and getting to meet Joey and seeing the gallery has been mind-blowing. As some of you know, Asian arowana are one of my favorite fish. I've got a tattoo of one on my back. I'm not going to show you that, but that doesn't matter. I think what's got to happen now, Joey, is we got to do those React videos.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna set up here. We can do it here.
You do it here.
We're gonna do it here. We're gonna do a React series video here with Joey, which is not something I was expecting to do, but since Joey's up for it, I think we should do it. So you guys are gonna not only have me looking at your videos, and pictures of your tanks, but Joey's gonna have a look too, and he's gonna give his 2 cents. Or 3 cents. How many cents?
Probably 2.
2 cents. All right, let's do it. Let's set up.
From Helen L. She says, hi, I'm new to fish keeping in general. This is my first proper tank, 20-gallon-ish, housing a variety of guppies, neon tetras, ember tetras, 2 leopard corridoras, an algae eater, and several red shrimps. I've also been thinking of maybe getting a betta.
Nice. Okay, first off, I want to say I have a lot of respect for anybody who, when they just jump into the freshwater hobby, right away starts with live plants. Not because live plants are better than fake plants. That's not it. It's because there's this challenge that comes with it. And I think if this is your first tank and you've gone right into live plants, everything's looking pretty happy, and that's super impressive.
Helen, you're doing exactly what I used to do, which is put household items into your aquarium. Please remove that mug. Get the mug out, and perhaps move the wood more so forward and the rock over to the left. I think you have a fantastic looking tank with very healthy plants. The guppies look pretty good for the blur that they are. But
photographing moving fish is an art form.
It's very difficult. Bottom line, get rid of the coffee mug, and I love your tank. Oh, and those oyster shells gotta go. Is that what those are? Oyster shells? Other than that, I like it. I don't mind it. Substrate, I'm not a huge fan of a mixed colors like that, but I think the tank looks good for what it is. Coffee mug gotta go.
It's, you know what? It's pointing out that there's mixed color. I don't know if that's possibly. Did you use a planted substrate in some of it
like
and
a
capped
mix.
it?
Yeah, maybe something along those lines. Yeah, it does look like it's getting darker near the back, so maybe it is a
possibly capped.
It is a planted substrate and then a white, maybe a pool filtration sand capping it over. But I don't think that's what's happening.
I didn't even. You know what's funny? I didn't even notice that was a.
She got a little neon tetra in there.
Oh yeah, look at that. That is too cool.
What's that? Kabamba? Kabamba.
It looks like that. I've never.
That's one of my favorite plants, but I've never kept it. I love how bushy and lush it looks, and yours looks really good.
I think it actually works also really well, along with a few other stem plants similar for keeping fry safe.
Bacopa?
That kind of does look like Bacopa. I don't know if this is Java moss maybe up in the front.
Sagittaria maybe? I'll see a single arowana.
I think the tank's a little small. That's awesome.
Grow it out.
Maybe also, I think this is funny. A lot of people now, I like rimless tanks because I like seeing the water line on the top of the aquarium. But this looks like a standard rimmed tank, and your water level's a little low.
I think she's got a waterfall going. Look.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
With that much oxygen exchange, though, I think you're depriving the plants of carbon dioxide. Too much
potential
oxygen
CO2.
steam.
Yeah, just pushing it out. That makes sense. You're off to awesome start.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Is that her first tank? What'd she say? Way better than mine. You should have seen mine. We're not going to talk about it. Yours is way better.
Mine wasn't that awesome either. Awesome work. Okay, let's take a look at this next one. Oh, nice.
Now this one is from Jim W. He says, I'd appreciate your critique. Excel versus CO2 is used for carbon source. Layout is work in progress as plants take over tank naturally along with recent modifications to suit Third's guidelines. Still deciding on water level preferences. Would love thoughts on CO2 versus Excel to be well, Jim.
Yeah, so Excel is essentially liquid CO2 to an extent. CO2 is going to get you far better results. I like your tank. I like your selection of plants, and I love that piece of wood. I don't mind the mixed community of fish that you have, but I think that what you're missing here is an open space. I think you're trying to fill in too many voids here, and what it's doing is spacing everything out too much. I think I'd move the wood over towards the Vallisneria, and I think that would be nice.
The lack of negative space is creating like a busyness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually agree. If you move the wood a little bit to the left towards the Vallisneria, which I think it's Vallis. It looks like Vallis.
Jungle Val.
Yeah, they're crazy long. Is that them?
They're gonna get like
All the
3
way-
to 4 feet long.
Oh, for sure. And then here's what I think. Move it over closer to the valves. Create kind of a drop with the actual plantscape that comes towards the center of the tank, and then that's a perfect spot to put your lotus. You've got a lotus that's got nice pads reaching up to the top of the aquarium right now. I've always found, and this is personal preference, but I've always found they look super, super cool right in the center of an open spot in the tank so that you can see that they're coming right up from nothing and they're at the top, and they have a presence that way. I think your plants look really healthy. I think you got some Ludwigia there that's looking good. I don't see any die-off low on the plant, which is really typical with Ludwigia when it's not too happy. You've got an Anubias, I think, that's on the wood there. You've got some really nice crypts that are nice and dark, and then like a standard Java fern on the other side of the tank, which is, again, I don't see any algae on any of the plants, which is an excellent sign. So whatever you're doing is working. For CO2, you will get better results. No matter what anybody says, you're going to get better results in growth if you use compressed CO2 paired up with highlighting and a good amount of fertilizer or nutrients in the system. It's just not the same. So from my understanding, Excel is a partially complete carbon chain that plants can uptake in place of CO2, but it's not going to be the same for them. It's just not going to be the same as having CO2 in the system all the time. The good news is you have a decent bioload in fish, so you're going to have some nutrient CO2 being produced all the time anyways. But, and if you want to go to compressed CO2, I would probably take your spray bar and just bring it down a touch so you're not getting as much surface rippling, and that should help with CO2 retention in the system. I love your selection of fish. You have the world's smallest arowana in there. African butterfly.
Right.
I've always...
Ooh, those ballas are going to be a problem. Did you see them?
They're a
Balla
little,
sharks.
oh, they're going to get pretty sizable.
Yeah, and fast and dirty. Fill the rest of the tank up. That's the one thing that's distracting me. On a planted tank, I like to see them filled to the trim. You have nothing in there that jumps, so you don't really need to have that void space above. Although I think I could imagine that what you might want to do is create the effect of the jungle val hanging over.
Sweeping?
Yeah. That is a huge Bosmani rainbow.
It is.
Beautiful.
It is.
The convict.
Awesome.
Yeah, great tank. I don't mind it at all.
I often tell people that their tank could really use a background. In this case, I don't mind the wood paneling behind the tank. I think it looks nice.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, let's see what's next. Good work. I want to see this tank again in like a couple months.
Yeah, 6 months or something.
Okay. Hiya.
Now this is from Jonathan C. He says there, Superfish Hone 80, this is the setup, Superfish Hone 80, Eheim 150 watt heater, Eheim 400 air pump, simple dual sponge filter, external all pond solutions BF 150 with sponge, and 1.2 kilograms of BioHome Ultimate. As far as fish, 1 Moonlight Gourami, 1 Gold Gourami, 2 3-spot Gourami, 2 Opal Gourami, 2 Yo-Yo Loaches, and 1 female bristlenose Pleco. Says, I know I have fake plants, but I'm considering changing them to real ones. Just not sure if I should.
I didn't think they were fake at first.
Okay, this is
The tank looks very sterile.
Well, yeah, it's funny because the fish, for whatever reason, because the plants are similar colors, like the yellow gourami and the yellow of the plants, they almost blend in together. So when you first take a look at the tank, you don't even notice the fish. The first thing I did notice is that the way you scaped it is really, really nice. Even though these are fake plants, it looks like you used real wood, a nice natural gravel. You've composed it in a way that is just pleasing to look at right from the start. So that is a huge plus in my books. I think it looks awesome.
It's too symmetrical.
A little symmetrical for your taste?
Too symmetrical. And the gravel is perfect. Like very smooth. And then I'm
Flat.
looking over at the food that's perfectly balanced. Everything, it's almost like this is like too perfect.
You need some chaos.
Too bland. Yeah, I need something, tip something over.
I think when the time comes, if you do want to switch to live plants, there are live plants you can switch to that are not going to be a crazy amount of work. Like Java moss, Java fern, vowels, all of those are relatively easy, even if you don't want to get into the, compress CO2 and all that stuff. I think you've got a skill that you're going to hone in terms of aquascaping. It looks nice. Joey wants a little bit more chaos. The rule of thirds would help big time with that, or the golden ratio. So definitely you want to look into those because they're a tool that's going to help create artificial chaos and randomness to it, which will kind of express that better.
I don't think the background suits it either.
The background, I'm picky with backgrounds. I think in a lot of cases a flat black background is the way to go. In some cases I like just a frosting on the back of the tank.
I think the black with his plants that are so high is going to add a ton of depth.
I actually agree with you, and it's going to hide any other...
He's already got a lot of dark areas.
Yeah, in the
It's
tank.
going to blend nice, yeah.
Everything else in the tank will pop. Solid work. And if you do switch to plants, make sure you send us a picture because I want to see how that goes. That was a lot of fun. I love seeing your tanks. How'd you feel about it, Joey?
I feel really guilty. Like, I feel really guilty. Because I get my honest thing, and I'm like, I like it, I don't like it, and I know that I might have just killed people at home, like I just crushed them inside. How could Joey say this about me? I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. These, like, and the pictures are very small that I'm looking at, and I don't have great eyesight anyways because I'm getting old and senile, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But if you ever want me to judge your aquariums again, and you know I'm coming on here to do something like this, don't send your pics, because I might crush your soul.
This is your, if you had your picture seen today by Joey and you felt slighted in any way, go to Joey's channel, look at his tanks, and then you can tell him what you think.
No doubt.
Oh no, it's a lot of fun, and I think constructive criticism and pointers on how to do things better is just as important as somebody just flattering you. And I think the important thing is, I haven't seen a tank yet really on this kind of segment that we do, where somebody's not taking great care of their fish, and the fish have always looked really good and healthy. So kudos to everybody. You guys are doing a great job. It's one of my favorite things to do is see what all of you guys do, because I stare at my own tanks all the time. Sometimes I like to go see somebody else's tanks, and seeing your tanks is amazing. So thank you so much, and thanks for watching and being here on this journey through Joey's life with me. And as always, guys, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, because I like to keep doing these things. And if you sub up, that helps me keep doing what I do, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. You can also reach out to us on social media like Facebook. Don't forget to check out Joey's channel if you haven't heard of it. I know I really wanted to help boost Joey up because...
I need some help.
Yeah, right?
Please.
Right?
Please watch me.
So yeah, check out Joey. He's got an incredible amount of videos on his channel that dabbles on just about everything, including a lot of DIY stuff. That's why he is the king of DIY. And, you know, as always, keep on tanking with me and Joey.
And me now. I'm part of this. For this video. So one of my favorite things to do is make them fight. Look at them get it. You got your hand.
Yep.
See
well,
what
it happened. And let me tell you, not only is that a really hard mouth, it's got a little...
It's got a lot of teeth.
Little teeth in there,
What are they called?
little needles.